Hi, Renee.
Hi.
My name is Ashley Davis. I am a student at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. It's a CUNY school, and I am in the master's program for forensic mental health counseling. So, what brings you in today?
Well, I'm trying to really overcome my fear that I have for dogs, in particular German Shepherds.
Okay.
I've had a fear of these dogs for a really long time, and now I'm dating someone who has a German Shepherd, and he really loves that dog and doesn't want to get rid of the dog. And so I want to be able to, be around his dog with him because I intend on spending a lot of time with him. So I'm just hoping that you can help me get through this.
Well, I definitely understand where a lot of these feelings have stemmed from in terms of wanting to overcome this fear. I just want to understand it a little bit more. So, you said that you've had this fear for a very long time. So, can you remember when or why this fear started?
Yes, well, when I was younger, my grandfather had a German Shepherd. Her name was Queenie, and she always, I just never felt that she liked me. My older brother seemed to get along with her really well. Every time we would go over to the house, he got along with her fine. She always seemed to growl at me. I never could understand why. And one day in particular, my brother was just trying to help me overcome my fear of her and told me to let her jump on me and pat my chest because she would always stand up on him.
Okay.
And so he kept telling me, it's going to be fine. Just pat your chest and let her jump up on you. And when I did that, she jumped on me and she bit me in my face.
Oh my goodness.
And
Okay.
it was extremely traumatic. I still have like the dent in my nose from where her tooth went in and
Oh goodness.
below my eye. And it was a lot of blood. It was very painful. Thankfully, she didn't pierce my eye. Um, but ever since that instance, I had to go to the hospital and everything to make sure that everything was actually okay. The bruises healed, but it stuck with me, and so I've just had a really hard time being around big dogs and German Shepherds in particular.
Wow. Well, I'm so sorry that you had to experience that. It is definitely very traumatic. But now that I have a better understanding of your fear as well as, your situation and why it is so important to you, I definitely think there are some techniques that we can work on together. Also, some things that you'll be able to do on your own. I like to call them homework assignments.
Okay.
Just so you can start to overcome this phobia a little bit.
Okay.
So, there's not necessarily any medications that we have. A lot of times we like to utilize some type of exposure as well as, having a change in the thought process or your mindset. So what I would like to do with you today, it's a hierarchy. So we'll use a 10-item hierarchy, and with that, we will basically come up with different projects or assignments for you to be exposed to dogs, German Shepherds specifically, that will allow you to have some type of interaction with them more than you're used to, obviously, since you've said that you've stayed away from them. And we'll work through together some things that you feel you would be capable of completing these tasks. And then, it'll take some time, but over time, hopefully, the process will allow you to build up and overcome your phobia. Okay?
Okay.
So, first, as I said, it's going to be a 10-item hierarchy. So when I do hierarchies with clients, I usually like to start with number one, which is going to be, obviously difficult for you because it deals with your phobia, but the least amount of difficulty. Okay? And then from there, we'll move to activity number 10, which would be the most difficult, almost as if you couldn't imagine yourself doing that in relation to your phobia of the dogs.
Okay.
After that, we'll move, and I'll go through this with you again as we're going along. After that, we'll move to number 5, which is kind of that space in the middle. You know, a even balance in between something lighter, something a little bit heavier, and then we'll work to fill everything else in between. Okay? And I'll be here to work with you as we go through this. So, starting off, we have number 1, and the phobia is dogs. So, what is something that you feel you would be able to accomplish with little or no help, or as a starting point?
Um, Going to a kennel.
Okay, okay. So we're going to put going to a kennel. And why do you feel that this is something that you'll be able to put your phobia aside and try out?
Because at a kennel, the dogs are generally inside their own little cages or
Right.
little dog houses, and they can't get to you.
Right. Okay.
So,
That's very good. So at least you'll be around them, right? And you'll have some type of exposure to them, but just not quite with them touching you yet.
right.
Okay. All right. So now moving forward to number 10, the hardest thing that you would really be traumatized to even think about doing. And so from what you've told me, your fear is really associated with the dogs touching you, maybe with them biting you again. So do you feel that for this activity, you would be able to work up to something that allows you to have exposure to the dogs where they are touching you, um, or jumping up on you?
Yes, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. So do you want to put that as, your goal for number 10 as something to work up to?
Sure. I mean, that would be my ultimate goal, to be most comfortable, when I'm at my boyfriend's house and the dog comes in the room. Sometimes, he jumps on him, or he'll get in his lap, he'll put his paws in his lap, and I would like to be that comfortable to be able to allow the dog to do that. So maybe to be sitting on the couch and have the dog come over and put his paws on my lap.
Okay. This is good. And now, what would you feel is your in between? The right in the middle, it's kind of easy, kind of difficult. Would you say it would be petting a dog, or
I don't know that that's going to be in between.
okay.
Not a 5.
Okay.
A 5 maybe would be being in the room with a dog, a German Shepherd,
Okay.
unchained.
Oh, okay. Okay. So far, just to recap, the first thing that we have is to go to a kennel. And you told me that that's because the dogs are usually behind cages and they can't get to you.
Right.
And then the hardest thing you said would be to sit on the couch, like at your boyfriend's house, to sit on the couch and allow the dog to have all exposure, touching, jumping, all of that, correct?
Correct.
And then in the middle, you said being in the room with the German Shepherd, unchained, right? Okay. So now, going back to the easier side for numbers 2, 3, and 4, do you have any feelings of things that you believe you would be able to participate in? Maybe some things on your own without other people there in relation to the dogs?
Maybe feeding them.
Okay. Feeding them?
Putting their bowls down for them.
Okay. So is this something that you think that you would want or need to do with someone there, like at a kennel, or you want to start there?
I can do it at a kennel.
Okay. And these are all really great, Renee, because you're taking the time to step out of your comfort zone. A lot of the things dealing with dogs really scare you. So I think that it's really great that you're taking the time to really expose yourself. And so you said so far going to a kennel and feeding a dog at the kennel. Um, is there anything in particular that you would want to do on your own? Maybe take the dog for a walk from the kennel?
I'd like to be able to do that. I was thinking about that.
Okay. So do you feel that it would be on the easier side of the hierarchy, or that would be a little bit more difficult?
Well, um, I think it would be easier if somebody does it with me.
Okay. So do you want to start with maybe someone doing it with you and then building it up to doing it on your own?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Renee, I think that you're doing really awesome, and you are more than halfway done with your hierarchy, and you've come up with great ways to challenge the fear that you have so far. And so, we're going to go through all of them at the end. But in the beginning, you told me, that going to a kennel was difficult, but that was something that you felt that you could accomplish. And then moving forward, you would like to feed a dog at the kennel, and you also would like to build up to being able to walk a dog but with someone.
Yes.
And then after that, you'd like to build to the point where you can walk a dog by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be able to be in the room with a German Shepherd specifically. So before it was really generalized, and now it's specific to a German Shepherd.
Yes.
And you noted that being in the room with a German Shepherd that's unchained. Okay. So now moving on to the more difficult portion of the hierarchy, and for the fact that you have focused in on the German Shepherds, um, how would you feel the best way to move forward is in regard to tackling this fear? Would you like to continue to work with the German Shepherds and to do things on your own?
Well, I would like to work with the German Shepherds. So, I'm told that they can be really loving animals, and they really train very well. They're they're supposedly great guard dogs um, as well. So I would just like to learn how to develop a relationship with the dog so that they know I'm not trying to harm them.
Okay.
So maybe participate in some sort of a training class.
Okay, and would you be comfortable if the training class had first-hand experiences? So, for instance, that you would let the dog lick your hand, or you would let the dog cuddle with you.
Mm-hmm.
Something where you could touch the dog?
Yeah.
Okay, so participating. Okay, so now you've added, participating in a class with firsthand experience so you can touch or let the dog lick you, for example. So then moving forward.
On my hand.
On your hand, on your hand. So, and moving forward with that, do you think that once you have a little bit more experience, you can let the dog maybe lick your face or
No.
no? Okay. Okay. So, do you want to try to maybe use some of the skills that you learn and be able to pet the dog, the German Shepherd? And
Yes, I
okay,
can do that.
okay. So you have two items left before you build up to being able to sit on the couch with the German Shepherd putting their paws on you and, really interacting with you. So far, I think you've come up with really great options and activities to get you to this point. But I also want you to be able to reach this goal. So I want you to be able to feel that little by little you've had enough exposure so that when it comes to this big activity, it won't be too much. So going towards that, you said that you would be able to let the dog lick your hand and that you would be able to pet the dog. So what else do you think that you would be comfortable in trying to build up to this big activity?
Um, Maybe playing with the dog, like like fetch.
Okay.
You throw the ball and they'll go and get it and bring it back to you.
Awesome. Very good. And so now we have one slot left before the big activity. Um, so with this, you would want it to be something again that is going to allow you to get even more comfortable so that by the time you get to number 10, you really will be able to sit on the couch and let the dog put their paws on you. So if you've already let the dog lick you and you pet the dogs and you play with them, is there anything else specific that you feel that you would be ready to tackle?
Um, maybe jogging a little bit
Okay.
with the dog, because sometimes when you're running, dogs, I don't know if they feel that that's being aggressive with them when you're running, but maybe running alongside
Okay.
the dog.
So just really learning to build a relationship. Well, Renee, you've done great. And so I just want to go through these with you quickly. So, for your hierarchy with your phobia of dogs, specifically German Shepherds, you've said that the easiest thing for you to do would be going to a kennel. And after that, you would want to feed a dog at the kennel, walk a dog with someone, walk a dog by yourself. And then here's a big changing point where you want to be in the room with the German Shepherd specifically and have that dog be unchained. And I think that was really big for you because now there's no cages and the dog could easily get to you.
Right.
Okay. So then moving forward, you said you wanted to participate in some type of dog training that would give you firsthand exposure and let the dog maybe lick your hand. You want to use learning skills to then be able to pet the dog, right? And then you said that you want to be able to play with the German Shepherd, specifically, like playing fetch, and then running and building a good bond with the dog. I'm guessing maybe your boyfriend's dog specifically.
Right.
And then to be able to sit on the couch and allow the dog to be on you with paws and really touch you.
Right.
So the best thing is that you don't have to do this by yourself. So the first thing, to go to a kennel, I'm going to assign that as a homework assignment. So, pick someone that you really trust that takes this very seriously with you, and then you'll be able to, hopefully enact a lot of the things that we talked about in previous sessions and be able to start overcoming your fear. Okay?
Yes.
It's very nice meeting with you.
Nice meeting with you too. Thank you so much.
No problem.